Welcome to the Guinto Bros podcast. My name is Karr Guinto, and here with me today is Chris Gamboa and our new special guest.
Yeah, I'm not a fucking regular.
She's not regular. She's very abnormal, actually. Phoenix Abersack. Say hello, everybody.
Hello.
This podcast is for the politically incorrect, ignorant, or downright stupid commentary by the Guinto Bros and the few that roll with us. So hello everybody, this is our second podcast of the day. We are very drunk. And
Someone's eating church's chicken in the corner.
Yes.
That would be me.
That is Chris Gamboa eating throughout the whole podcast probably. And we also picked up a bartender. A native of British Columbia. Phoenix Abersack. Hello,
It's
Phoenix.
me.
So, we're doing this podcast because we're very drunk. And for some reason, she came.
And it's probably never gonna get posted.
No, it's going to be posted.
Oh,
It's like,
shit!
I am shocked that she even came to three fucking Filipino guys'
Okay, you're making
random
it sound
house.
weirder than it is.
I don't
First
know
of
it.
all.
But, tell us why you're here, Phoenix.
Well, you know, these three Filipino boys came to my bar and they were like, hey, you want to come over for a good time? And, you know, I thought that, like, it was like a gangbang, and then they were like, no, it's a podcast. I was like, oh, so you guys are really disappointed when I got here. No, I'm totally kidding.
But what compelled you to even,
I'm
like,
totally kidding.
come
Well,
here?
Ian is my friend. He's like, yo, let's hang out. I was like, okay. And that's that.
How long have you known Ian and Miguel?
Like,
What the fuck? Why'd you have to throw that in?
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
anyway.
Because
keep going,
I
keep
met
going.
them both at the same time,
Okay.
I think.
Like how many years, months?
How many years ago? Like, probably 3 months ago.
Oh, okay.
Not very long ago. They're just regulars at my bar.
Mm-hmm.
Ian and his girlfriend come, like, every week, and then Miguel comes, like, every other week, I
Okay.
guess. I don't know. You look like a little fucking golem in the corner with your
sorry.
chicken in hand.
I know, I'm so hungry.
So what have you been up to in, like, BC, other than working at...
Charles
I don't know, you want to mention where you work at, or... is it-
Charles Bar! 136 West Cordova, baby!
Yeah, go visit her at Charles Bar. But yeah, what have you been up to other than that?
So I moved to Vancouver, like, about a year ago.
From?
Victoria.
No way!
You didn't know that?
I'm from Victoria.
No, you're fucking not.
You're not from Victoria.
Well, I moved to Victoria. I'm from Winnipeg, but I moved to Victoria for 2
Yeah, I was
years.
gonna say you're a prairie boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where in Victoria?
Well, I
I live in
graduated from
Royal.
Oak Bay.
Whoa! Okay. Okay.
Yeah, is that your spot or what?
No, Oak Bay is not that far.
From
From
where?
your place?
I know where Oak Bay is.
Where did you live?
I live in View Royal.
That's very far.
No, compare as far as
For Victoria.
for Victoria is, I guess.
No,
But Oak Bay is like
when did you live in Victoria?
2 years ago now. So it's my second year now in Victoria.
This is Vancouver.
Well, I live in Victoria for 2 years now.
He only comes here to, like, visit.
Oh,
Yes,
you
it is.
live in Victoria currently.
Yeah.
Currently I live in Victoria.
Oh,
So
okay,
I'm
that makes more
visiting
sense.
them.
I was like, bro, I think you're a little more drunk than we thought
Yeah.
you were. This is Vancouver.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. What do you do in Victoria?
I work in a hospital. I'm a medical device technician.
In Jubilee?
Yes.
Yeah!
Oh my gosh. Oh, she
Oh my
knows. Yeah, she
God.
knows. Yeah, she's a.
You wanna know something crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell us.
I guess it's about 6 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
I got flesh-eating disease. Do you know what that is?
Flesh-eating disease?
Flesh-eating disease.
What was it called?
Necrotizing fasciitis.
How did
What
you get
the
that?
Do you know where Hornby Island is?
Is that
well,
up
what?
island?
I don't live here.
Hornby Island.
Is that up island? I'm guessing.
No, it's not on Vancouver Island. It's kind of between the mainland and Vancouver Island, I guess. It's like a 5-hour... From the island, it's like about a 5-hour ferry ride. You have to take 2 boats over there. It's like a little beautiful West Coast Hawaii. Little hippie town.
Like Salt Springs?
Further than Salt Spring.
Okay.
It's lovely though. Yeah, I used to go camping there every summer with my friends for like 5 or 6 years in a row. And in 2014, I think it was, I got a cut on my leg. Nothing crazy. Like, nothing that was, like, that insane that I should be worried. And even then, I cleaned it out. You know what I mean? Like, antiseptic, Band-Aid, whatever do you think you're supposed to do when you get a cut?
Yeah.
And then the next day I woke up, and it was so painful to walk on, and everyone was like, okay, Phoenix is being a drama queen. She doesn't want to pack up camp because blah, 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 whatever, right? And then I slept the whole car ride home. And then, yeah, like a couple days went past, and I was just so sick, like, worst flu symptoms ever. And my mom finally was like, because this is when I was in, like, grade 12.
Okay.
And my mom opened the door, and she just thought, she was like, what if I went to wake her up and she didn't wake up?
Right.
And so she woke me up, and she was like, all right, we're going to the hospital.
Oh, my gosh. Yo.
And I was so reluctant to go, and then we were in the car, and I remember looking out the window, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, holy fuck, like, my vision's going blurry right now, like, something is not okay, on top of already feeling like shit, like, not being able to walk on my leg. So we get to the hospital, and at this point, I'm so tired that I'm just like, okay, put me under, do whatever you need to do. I just want to go to sleep. Like, fix me, you know?
Yeah.
And so immediately they diagnosed me with necrotizing fasciitis. Because I was a minor, my parents had to sign a waiver to get my leg amputated from the knee down.
Wow.
From a cut that was probably about 2 inches long. Like, it wasn't anything crazy. Yeah, so I have a massive scar on my leg now.
Holy.
I didn't get my leg
Can we
amputated.
see?
Can we see it?
I mean, the viewers not gonna see.
Oh!
I noticed that actually.
Damn!
That's
How long has
pretty
it been?
cool.
6 years.
Damn.
So, well, let's see.
Where's this island exactly?
Where's what? Where's this island?
Yeah, exactly where in...
It's so weird because I can't feel you guys touching it.
No way!
Where do you start feeling it?
I feel here.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
And then I feel like here, but
You don't feel the actual...
I don't feel all the inside
Dude,
of my
that's
leg.
Pretty
Huge
cool,
wound.
actually. I mean,
it's cool, you know,
it's cool
like-
from an outside perspective, but
No, I definitely appreciate it. And I mean, when I went to France, like, I speak French quite well.
Okay.
Right.
But when I went there, I'm like, how the fuck do I explain? It was in the middle of summer. I'm like, how do I explain flesh-eating disease? So I just started telling people in French that I got bit by a shark.
Holy shit.
When I was surfing.
You're the
Holy.
first ever person I know that has actual flesh-eating disease.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
she
not very
had
common,
it.
but at the same time, it's like a lot of people who play soccer and rugby.
right.
That's like a rarity. Is it?
No, but it is, but it depends kind of who you know, I guess. Like, a couple of friends of mine who were into soccer and rugby, like I said, like, they know. They're like, oh, yeah, I know, like, a friend of a friend who had that, or, like, a teammate, you know what I mean? It's a lot more common than you'd think, because it's a type of staph infection.
Yeah. I would have guessed it was a staph, like a MRSA.
Yeah.
Because I had staph.
Yeah.
'Cause I have the scar from here on my arm.
Yeah,
I would
so-
have thought it was
And I had
staph,
staph.
but
Yeah.
that's
So
a pretty
everybody
big-
that I
Yeah.
was camping with and my parents all had to take an antibiotic when I got back so that
They don't
wouldn't
catch it as well.
contract this infection. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Damn.
it's just wrong place, wrong time, and essentially it's a really common bacteria to be on your skin, and that's why you're supposed to really irrigate your wound. And a friend of mine who's a doctor made a really good point. He said, even though I didn't personally do this, but he said a lot of people immediately just want to put on polysporin.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Of course.
And of course, right, because they're like, that helps heal the wound.
Yeah.
But with polysporin, it's like the same thing with putting Vaseline over a wound. It's like, yes, it keeps everything out, but it also keeps everything in that's already inside you. You know what I
Right.
mean? And then it can't get out, and that's where a lot of that infection comes from.
That's weird because, like, I had staph, and then I only used polysport. I never went to the doctor at
Yeah,
all.
he said you're not supposed to use it until like at least 4 to 6 hours. I think after you,
Because I'm like so particular about doctors. Like
you're supposed to squeeze the blood out of your wound.
My like shit's so big. Like when I had staph, like.
Oh my god, did it bubble like that?
Like I juiced it all out. Like it was all pus.
I juiced it.
I was like squeezing it, and like it was just pus for like the longest time.
That's hot.
Just because, like, I don't like, I don't like going to the doctor at all.
As long as it's not MRSA.
And look
if
at that.
It's staph, that's something else.
I just straight up just have the scar.
So that's it, though? That's pretty crazy, because yours is, like, half an inch, and mine is, like, 5 inches.
Yo.
I mean, yours is, like, massive.
Mine's, like, 5 by 5.
Yo, yours is, like, something. I'm like,
when did this happen? Like, when you were younger, or was it recent?
Yeah, no, like you said, like, 6 years ago, 7 years ago.
Right.
Just
and like, thank God it was on our last night of our camping trip, because we were already planning to go home. But what if it wasn't, and we were just, you know what I mean? If I just thought that I was like had a cold or whatever, because I was so sleepy and so sick, and like, you know what I mean? Like, thank God we were on our way home when I was feeling like, okay, like I'm not feeling too good. Something's clearly wrong. And then like a day or two later, I went to the hospital. Whereas it could have been in the middle of our trip. And I would have had no idea and just fucking died on the island. You know what I mean? Like, it was so close to being that. And, I don't know, wrong place, wrong time, but also right place.
Yeah.
Right time, I guess.
Luckily, the doctors...
And people are always like, oh my god, did you ever go back there? And I was like, yeah, literally the next summer.
Oh my god.
Well, that's the thing,
you're
is
a
it's
lot
like,
more
it's...
careful next time.
Not even. Like, it was literally a freak accident where I was climbing up the rocks back to the campsite. And I happened to fall, and
you just opened a wound.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. There was a nurse at the hospital who stapled her finger.
Yeah.
And lost her finger to it.
How has that impacted your life, like entirely? Have you, like, viewed things differently? Like, how you approach
100%,
them?
yeah. 100%. Like, I remember, like, the first instance of that is when I was sitting in my hospital room. And this is right after I got moved from ICU to just a regular room.
Intensive care, okay.
And because this is the start of my grade 12 year, right? You know, it's my grad year, and I'm like watching people walk to work and just, you know what I mean? And like, I was like, wow, I've never understood just like the importance of being able to walk to school or walk to work, and it's just little things
healthy,
like that that you take for granted. That, you know what I mean? People are like, fuck, it's Monday. Like, this sucks. I don't want to go to work. Yet, you're also able to get yourself there on your own, and you're in good health.
Be thankful.
And then there's me watching down from the window, and I'm like, I literally can't lift my leg off the bed, even if I tried, you know?
How did you persevere during those times? Or were you just...
Honestly...
battling things?
Yeah, I was fucked up on a lot of meds.
Yeah?
So that definitely helped. That morphine, though. Shout out to the morphine.
Shout out to the morphine, yeah.
But no, it definitely changes your perspective, but it's one of those things where you don't really realize it until afterwards. Like, it's not any of those growth periods, like, whatever's going on, I feel like you don't really realize the extent of it until after you're out of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? While you're going through it, it's like you can kind of wrap your head around it, but once you're kind of in the clear, it's like, holy shit, like, this is what I've just gone through over the past few months, the year, whatever it was. You know?
And this was all in Royal Jubilee.
Yeah.
For how long you been in Royal Jubilee? How many months were you in there in the intensive?
It wasn't months. I was in ICU for like just about a week, and then in a regular hospital room for 2 weeks, and then after that I just had a home nurse that would come like every couple days. Damn. But it was like a couple months before I was walking again.
Do you still go back to the same spot that you had like...
I haven't been back in a few years. I have been back since I contracted an infection, but
would you still go back?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, fuck that.
It's because you don't want to, like, that incident just to take over your life, right? You just want to be, like...
Well, not even that. It's like, that's such a beautiful spot, and I just know that it's not relative so much to that particular spot as it is just to being... You know what I mean? Like, when you get a cut, it's like, you just... And that's the thing, is like, I did clean it out and do what you're supposed to do. And it's just... wrong place, wrong time. And the odds of... Actually, you know what's funny? Is I think a year or two after, when I was on Hornby, I got a cut all over my scar. And this is like very... what's the word? I don't know, thin tissue, I guess, because it's been grafted, like it's a skin graft.
Yeah, it's like a
on
scar,
top of all the other trauma it's been through, so it bleeds very easily.
Yeah.
So I remember being down at the beach and I looked down, because I don't have much feeling in it, so I looked down and I saw that it was bleeding, and that really freaked me out, because it was bleeding in the exact same spot that I initially contracted the infection. But at the same time, it's like, what are the odds you're going to get the same infection,
No way.
in this lifetime, and be in the exact same spot? So it was just kind of like whatever, and I honestly didn't even, it wasn't anything nearly as bad as the first one, and also I was just like, fucking whatever, like, as if I'm gonna get that twice.
You're the first time I've ever heard that actually has a flesh-eating disease.
Like for me, in comparison, mine was very minor, but like every time I get a cut, I just like, I gotta clean this, I gotta cover it, I gotta do all that. That was exactly how you felt?
Yeah, no, I remember going back up to my campsite, and I, like, put an antiseptic wipe all over it, like, we had the first aid kit out, we're, like, doing all this shit that you're supposed to do when you get a cut, and then the last thing I didn't put polysporin or anything like that on it, but I put a Band-Aid over it, and I think...
Yeah, I'm like that too, just
A, that's what I'm wrong, or B, also, it's, like... On Hornby Island, it's Tribune's Bay they were camping, and bays are not the cleanest water. It's not the freshest because, you know what I mean? Like, it's ocean water, but
Hornby Island.
It's in a bay, so it's not coming in and out as quickly as more open parts of the water, right? So it kind of stays still in that little part where it's just kind of sitting there, and you know what I mean? It's not as clean.
Is it more isolated than Salt Spring Island? Hornby?
Yeah.
Really? Because I heard that Salt Spring is like the hippie spot.
This is
the hippie spot.
Hornby's like a huge hippie town. Not huge. It's a tiny hippie town.
So
but like,
you gotta take a ferry to go there.
So from Vancouver Island, you take a ferry from
Salt Spring. No.
No. From what's it called? I want to say Horseshoe Bay.
Okay.
I feel like that's not the spot. Anyway, you drive up near Parksville is where you take it from. And then from there you go to Denman. And then you drive about 10-20 minutes through Denman Island. And then from there you take another ferry to Hornby. And then you drive across the island to get to wherever you're camping.
I gotta Google this shit.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. You can walk out forever. Like
is it way better than Salt Spring?
Yeah.
Actually. Damn.
Well, they're completely different, but...
I gotta look this up.
Do you have to look it up?
He's like, next vacation. Yeah, me some fleshy disease, baby.
Hornby.
Do you think about what you experienced every day, or is like
probably not every day.
It happened and then.
But I get asked about it so many times, so I think that's why I think about it so often.
Why do you?
Because people see this massive scar on my leg, right? So
they're
like, oh my god, what the fuck happened?
Yo, it's way
You get this from your
way
job?
Up there.
Or...
I get it in my job, I get it just on the street, I get it, wherever.
Yeah?
Because people notice that kind of thing.
Are you annoyed by it, or just like...
No. At first I was.
It's part of
At first I was very self-conscious about it, because I think, too, after that, my first trip was to Europe.
Yeah.
And I find with Europeans, they're always looking at the ground. You know what I mean? They're just they don't really make eye contact. So when I was walking, they're looking down like at your feet, and then they see this massive scar. They're like doing a double take between my face and my leg, right?
Yeah.
And then I got a lot of questions about it there, and that would kind of bug me because it was also a lot fresher, so it was like a lot more red and just noticeable.
Yeah.
Because it was still very new, but after a while, like. I've learned to embrace it just because it's like there's nothing I can do to get rid of that, and it's a cool fucking story, so I might as well like that part of me as well, you know what I mean?
I just realized how far Hornby was. It's like past Port Alberni, past Nanaimo even.
Do you hate that you have to explain it all the time, or do you just like appreciate?
No, because people's reactions are quite priceless for that kind of thing. Like,
yeah.
It's sometimes it's never been like annoying. Sometimes it's like I give a short version very quickly because I'm like, okay, moving on. You know what I mean? If I'm not really in the mood to chat, but I also can understand from other people's perspectives because they're very intrigued by that. Because how often do you hear something like that? You know what I mean? Like before that happened to me, I'd never heard. I think I heard once in like middle school of one of my teachers, his rugby buddy had something similar happen to him. Right. But it's like that's also quite rare. So I definitely appreciate being able to tell people about it because it's interesting. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. Especially flesh-eating disease of all things. Yeah. Like I would have thought it's staph because I've seen a lot of staph or MRSA.
Yeah.
You know, but never in my mind I would have thought of flesh-eating disease in my wildest dreams. Like,
yeah, and I was famous around Jubilee after that for a while. Like, oh, you're the girl with the neck fash. I was like, yeah,
dude,
that's me.
And I've dealt with stuff like that. I remember my team lead would be like, by the way, this instrument, it's a flesh-eating disease. I'm like, whoa.
Do you get a lot of that? That are like people like, yo, chill. Like, they back off of you because it's like flesh-eating disease is like,
no, because it's not something you fucking carry forever.
So random.
Okay. Once it's out of your system, it's gone. It's not like
staph. Like this is done. This is done.
Yeah,
right.
Like I remember when I was in ICU, my parents had to wear those like hazmat suits.
Yeah, you gotta wear
like a gown. They took the antibiotics and everything. When they came in, they had to put the gloves on and the suit and everything. But it's like once it's out of your system, it's out of your system. It's not. It's not something that stays there.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever really had people that are like, oh my god, so like, am I gonna catch it? And I'm like, dude, that was, first of all, 6 years ago.
Right.
Second of all.
So, when did you move from Victoria to Vancouver now?
About a year ago.
Yeah, what compelled you to make that transition?
A few things. My grandma and my grandpa, on both sides of the family, have always lived on the mainland.
Okay.
And then my mom, when I was 18, like right when I graduated, she's always been quite the traveler. So as soon as she was done raising me, she's like, "Hey, see you later." And moved to Paris.
She moved to Paris?
She moved to Paris to go teach there. She's a teacher. She teaches English and French.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
And then came back to be closer to my grandma, which is in White Rock.
Okay.
And now she lives a little bit closer, and then, my other grandparents have always been more inner mainland. And then I was also dating a guy that lived in Vancouver at the time, so it was just, like, convenient all around, and I really just wanted to change from Victoria. And everyone was like, oh, you must be moving because of your boyfriend or whatever, right? And I'm like, no, like, that's definitely a contributing factor, but by no means is that why I'm moving. Like, I would never move somewhere specifically for one person that I've been seeing for, like, 6 months or whatever, right? Sure. So it was just, like, it was kind of just, like, the last thing that was like, okay, yeah, let's do this move. And so I decided, like, a month prior, and then, like, sold a bunch of my shit, got a moving van, and then it just so happened that my uncle and his family were moving over here, and yeah, it was just like everything was just kind of like domino effect, where it was just like boom, 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 okay, it all worked out. Like a friend of mine from like a regular of mine who was friends with my old boss got me the job here in Vancouver, and it was just like everything worked out really, really well, and there was no hoops to jump through, and I was like, okay, this is meant to be. This is gonna work out. You know what I mean? And every time I go back to Victoria, I love visiting it, but I'm like, thank God I moved.
Was your first job in Vancouver Charles Bar, or you had a
Charles Bar? Yeah, I already had it set up before I moved.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what? This will just be good to time me over for the time being, but
it still is. Like,
I
love Charles Bar.
Loving it.
Every time I visit mainland, I always go to Charles Bar. Well, me and Ian go to Charles Bar. If there's an event, me and Ian will go to Charles Bar on Friday.
Yeah.
And that's how I met you prior. Well, I met you technically Canada Day, I would say. Me, Miguel, and Ian went Charles Bar, and I'm like, okay, Miguel knows her. I'm like, okay, so, all right.
On Canada Day?
Yeah. Well, after Canada, this was like on a Sunday, I would say. It was just after Canada Day at night, like late night.
I imagine.
And then
so.
I was like,
Canada
It's like
at night.
6 p.m. That's
yeah,
when
no,
you
it's
start.
like late, like late.
Anyway, yeah, that weekend or whatever.
Yeah, the weekend, yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's I'm like, okay, that's how I guess I kind of met you.
Yeah.
And then this was actually our formally meeting.
Yeah.
That's
But-
cool though, right?
Yeah. But that's,
Can I ask about, like, you mentioned your mom, like, what about your dad?
My dad lives on the island still.
Okay.
What's that situation like? Like, if you want
My dad and I are very close.
to, yeah,
Like, he's my best friend. 100% he's my rock.
Okay.
I love him to death.
yeah,
I know he's having a really hard time with me being further away than normal.
Oh.
yeah,
But at the same time, it's like, that's expected, you know? We talk, like, every other day, every couple days.
yeah,
And, yeah, we're still super close and everything. And, like, my stepmom was over there. And mind you, like,
yeah.
my dad and my stepmom are splitting up right now, so I guess she's not really my stepmom anymore. But,
Yeah, because I'm in the situation, like, my parents aren't together. Like, my
Yeah.
dad's remarried to my stepmom, and, like,
well, yeah, like,
we're not tight either.
my parents
so-
have been split up since I was, like, 5. But my
Right.
stepmom and my dad have been together since I was, like, 16, and they're now just splitting up.
Yeah.
So it's been a while, and it's weird because it was, like, as a child, that was such a different experience, especially at the age that I went through that at, and now I'm like, holy shit, now I understand, like, how different that is, like, as an adult, having, like, your parents split up, or you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, it's
yeah.
a very different experience, but...
It's like my parents don't even, like, it's, for me, like, when I see them talk, it's weird. It's, like, so
they're
awkward.
not close at all.
They're not close to, like, my grad was a month ago, and just seeing them in the same, like, area, just like, what the fuck is this? It's just, like, it's been such a long time since they were, like, in the same room. It's, like, fucked up.
Yeah.
Have you, like, how's your experience with your
I
parents?
feel
like
like now that would be weird. For the longest time growing up, like, I never felt that there was much animosity between them, which I
Yeah.
really appreciated. Like, they were still quite close, and yeah, it was just really amicable. So that was really nice as a kid, knowing that, and I didn't ever feel like I was missing out on anything, because the way I looked at it, I was like, oh, sick, like, 2 Easter egg hunts, 2 birthday parties, you know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like, there was all this, like, positivity towards it, but then it got to a point where they kind of drifted apart, and then there was just this, like, awkwardness.
Yeah.
But as far as it went between me being like, oh, I'm spending my weekend at my dad's and then my school days at my mom's, like, that was never weird for me. But as I got older, they drifted further and further apart. But at the same time, like, just last month, like, when my dad, like, my grandpa lives, like, on my dad's side, he lives in the Okanagan, and
Yeah.
so when my dad was passing back through on his way to the island in Victoria, him and my mom and I went for lunch in New West just to, like, catch up, like, the 3 of us, you know, so it's like, you can still do that, it's not weird, but they were a lot closer when I was younger, you know?
Right.
But I think it's for the best, you know, people drift apart, people grow, it's, I don't know, different circumstances.
So I assume you're the only child, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you know?
I mean, obviously through the stories.
Is that
but-
the only child syndrome?
There is such a thing because, you know, like, I have family members like, oh, you're the only child. Okay, that makes sense. But
Yeah.
yeah, this. How does it feel? Just like, you know, it's just you, and then, like, I can't imagine just dealing with all this. Like, your parents are together, but then you're the only child, right? Like, for you, how does it, like, feel just, like, in general with your family? Because you have to, I mean, I don't want to, like, single out, because I don't want you to feel, like, alone, but it seems like you're alone in that transition when they separated, right?
Yeah, but I was also so young. Like, I was in, like,
Right.
grade 1, you know?
Yeah,
So
because I had, like, 2 siblings, like, to, like, talk to about this situation and such, right?
yeah. Well, how old were you when your parents split up?
I was, like, 10, maybe
So, yeah,
12.
that's very different. You have a lot bigger understanding of what that means versus a 6-year-old.
Like,
know?
I never understood, like, I said this in, like, the podcast earlier, it's like I never like got it until I was a little older, like the situation.
Yeah. But still, the grasp you have at 10 versus 5 or 6 is very different, right? So I honestly don't even remember the point where I don't remember them fighting when they lived together, and I don't remember them splitting up. It was a very clean, amicable separation in my eyes, at least, you know. And they've told me that like my teachers at the time were like, oh, like she seems to be handling it pretty well, and I don't even really know what was happening. You know what I mean? It wasn't like or maybe that's something that I've repressed over the years. I don't know, but like as far as I can remember, it wasn't anything traumatizing. Like it was never a big deal for me. And I just looked at the positive side of like, oh yeah, I have sweet like 2 times to open presents on Christmas morning, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And different things like that. And it was super chill. Like I didn't really have any issues with that. I'm honestly having more issues as an adult having my stepmom and my dad split up, because I was like, what the fuck? I thought you guys were like the happiest couple and you were going to be together forever. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's so funny because it's like I don't live at home. I haven't lived at home in years. I never really lived with them as a couple for very long because they only got together when I was like 16.
Yeah.
But just the capacity to understand that kind of relationship at that age versus being very young is so different. So I think that's why I noticed such a transition. You know what I mean?
So I assume you grew up with your dad? Like,
both.
Both?
But you're closer with your dad more.
I'm closer, my mom has a lot of mental health issues.
Oh, sure.
I love her dearly, but she's always had a lot going on, and like I said, my dad's always been my rock, so...
How often do you talk to your dad a week? Like every
day, every couple days?
Yeah.
Talk to my mom like once a week, probably.
I talk to my parents every
Sunday. Like my mom, I find, always relied on me more than I relied on her. Like I was more of the parent, I guess, in that relationship, and then... You know, my dad was the one that and she resents that a lot because she always thought that I was running to him. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, I'm sure I was, but it was just like, as a child dealing with a parent like that, you gotta have somewhere to go. So you know what?
Has it been an easy transition in mainland? Like, have you found like close friends now in Vancouver? And like, for me, it's still a little hard to find close friends. That's why I always come to mainland to see Ian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But coming to Vancouver, like, do you have any like circle of friends now since moving to Vancouver?
To make it easier for yourself, just for the transition.
Well, I find that working in a bar makes it quite easy because you're always social, right? It's not like an office job where you're just...
God, I know.
Yeah, right? So I'm always dealing with people. So my best friends here are definitely my coworkers.
Okay.
Yeah.
I find that people in Vancouver are a lot more closed off than other places I've been to. And just based on like what I've heard from other people, it's a little bit more challenging to find friends here than other places. But at the same time, it's, I don't know, like I do have a decent amount of friends here. Like when I went to Victoria with a coworker of mine who's also from Victoria. Funny enough, like her and I in the same grad year from Victoria didn't know each other till we just both happened to start working at Charles Bar.
What?
Yeah. So her and I went and visited Victoria and just kind of like did our own thing, like hung out together or whatever. And when I was over there, I was just thinking, I was like, hey, who do I have to text that I actually want to hang out with?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was like, my Vancouver list is a lot longer than my Victoria list now, which is a good feeling.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, because when I first moved here, it was like, fuck, like, who am I supposed to hang out with on my days off? You know what I mean? And it still happens now and again on my days off here when I do get a day off.
Before moving to Vancouver, you didn't have like any like best friends in Victoria, like close friends?
Oh no, I did. Uh-huh. Yeah, all my best friends were in Victoria.
So they still live in Victoria.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like I've drifted from them. Like the ones that I still care about, I still see. But there's so many people that I've drifted from that I just when I go there and like we haven't talked in so long, I don't really care to see this person.
Yeah.
Like, I still care about them, by all means, but it's like, do I really want to go out of my way in the couple of days I have here to hang out with them? And have weird small talk? Probably not, you know?
But the ones that you are still close in Victoria, you still chill with. Like,
yes, totally.
That's good.
Yeah, like, one of my closest, longest best friends is in Victoria.
Nice.
And there's a couple of them.
Do they come by and chill at Vancouver? When
Yeah, 100%. Like, my best friend, Deidre, she lives in Victoria. And, like, when I go there, we hang out, and she comes here, she stays with me. And then, yeah, like, a couple other my really good friends there as well. So it's nice to have both, because, like, when you go there, you've got somewhere to stay. And then when people come here for concerts or whatnot, you know, they at least always come by the bar or whatever, right? So it's a good...
You gotta persuade them, like, just move to Vancouver. Just let them know, like, just move here.
Yeah, I'm trying to get Deidre on that train.
Do you find, like, relationships, like, because you work at a bar, do you find it, like, genuine? Do you even think about that idea that it is genuine, or it's just like you take it as it is?
Or just because people are drunk?
Yeah, because like I don't know. I assume like at the bar it's like, hey, you're doing customer service, so you have to be like
nice.
You have to be
hospitable.
hospitable.
Yeah, but you guys have seen me in the bar. Do you really think that I'm that much of a hospitable customer service
I don't know.
kind of guy?
Talking to you now,
Yeah,
like,
I never thought you would
cool.
actually showed up.
you're cool, and
Yeah.
then like you have a great story, and
Yeah.
it's very intriguing.
Very
and,
intriguing.
But at the bar, I feel like I'm kind of more of a bitch.
Yeah, but it's,
Nah.
I don't know.
No,
I don't
seeing
think
you now,
so.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
this
but
girl's
see me
actually
now, but you're talking about at the bar.
Yeah, but at the bar, that's what I'm saying. It's
So that's
like,
what you're
do
asking.
yeah, exactly. So, do you think that is?
I think I'm definitely
Genuine?
more standoffish at the bar.
Yeah.
Mostly because I'm dealing with drunk people, which is like the whole night I'm essentially babysitting adults.
How do you like when you see these drunk people? Like, how do you like?
How you zone that out, like become like.
I don't zone it
Exactly.
out. I just like it depends on the person. There's certain like really lovely drunk people that I'm like, yeah, man, get it. You do you. But there's certain people that come up, you know, and they're like snapping their fingers at you, and then they're like, "Can I order a drink? Can I order a drink?" And you go over there, and then they immediately turn around to talk to their friends to ask what they want to drink.
Yeah.
You know, because they haven't actually decided, and that's the point where I just walk away.
Oh.
Right.
Because I'm like, I'm not gonna stand here while you figure out your order. I have better things to do. You know what I mean? Like, there's always something I could be doing behind the bar. So it's those kind of people
Sure.
where it's like, don't waste my fucking time.
Right.
And like tonight, when Ian got mad at that guy,
Yeah, that
Oh,
random guy.
oh, that
beside
old
us.
tall
this guy,
guy?
he started yelling at me because the machine wasn't working.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And then Ian came out, he's like, "You want me to punch him?" And I was like,
Actually?
"Absolutely not."
No, I was like trying to pull
And
him
he's like
away.
holding it back. He's like, "It's okay, it's okay."
Yo, chill. I was like,
Wow.
yo,
Well, 'cause-
chill,
no,
chill.
but it was like this guy was being a fucking asshole for no reason. He like the machine wasn't working, and so he started yelling at me. And he's like, "You better have a better attitude," buff, like freaking out at me for no reason. I was like, "Okay, dude, sounds good."
Wow.
But then
Do
Oh,
you deal with that shit often, or?
not like that. Like generally, people are pretty okay. I mean, every now and again, you get people like that, and worse.
You're in a good situation because, well, as for now, like it's a kind of a blessing that you got a job at Charles Bar, and it's a pretty good gig, and you met really good people like Ian, me. I'm just saying, it's just
Ian,
it's
me,
really good
not
people like
you.
Ian. Yo, I'm just saying, it's a good situation because who would have known like that this was like. Your first transition to moving to mainland, like it's actually not bad.
How long have you been like here? I mean, I am.
Like, were you a bartender back in Victoria? No.
I was a server and part-time bartender.
Sure.
We're in downtown.
Where?
Yeah.
He just wants to know all.
I just want to know because I live in Victoria, right? So I
The
kind of know.
Breakwater was the last place that I served.
Where again?
The Breakwater Bistro,
Oh, okay.
where the
Yeah.
cruise ships come in. Arlington Point.
Because I was working at Flying Otter.
Oh, in the inner harbor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For like a minute. And
Yeah,
then I
the
got
Breakwater's gone through some big changes, and I love it. They're all farm to table now. And I'm really, I know the chef there quite well because I used to work there in the tasting room downstairs where they had, like, they cure their own meats in house and, you know, they do all, like, he forges all his
Victoria's
own
not so bad.
vegetables and shit. But
I liked Victoria when I went there.
I still like it.
Beautiful.
Hence, that's why I'm still living there.
They've got
like,
lots of great restaurants there.
Like, it's a small... I like it because it's not too overwhelming compared to mainland.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's kind of why I still like living there. But at the same time...
That's why I moved.
But it's also a little bit too... stale.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would, you know what I mean? Like, when you're born and raised there, there's only so
much
far you can get.
Well, you gotta realize that me and...
You're kind of just in a bubble.
Yeah, but we gotta realize... Because we were all in the same high school in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
And Winnipeg is another shithole.
I mean, I still live there.
Yeah. It's like something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like it?
That's why I had to move.
I mean, yeah, my family.
It's a step up from...
Do you know
Winnipeg.
Amber Landry?
I mean, where's she from?
Winnipeg?
What school though?
I don't fucking know.
That's a very like generic.
She's just
name.
an old roommate of mine from when I first moved to Vancouver. And now she's
right. Like I used to live here. I used to live in Surrey.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like,
So
a
you didn't
long
live here.
time
You
ago.
lived in Surrey.
10
Different
years
city,
ago.
buddy.
That's a different. I mean, I used to live in BC for like
A year.
a year, and then because I moved from Winnipeg to Surrey for school, and then I went back
to
Winnipeg because, you know, like I was like super depressed and I can't afford shit here.
You gotta realize he just came straight out of high school.
Straight out of high school.
And Surrey's like shit.
Yeah.
So he didn't really experience the whole gist of Vancouver.
Right.
Yeah, you got the armpit.
Yeah, you got the armpit of
I got
BC.
the armpit. But yeah, then I
Surrey's
moved
not
back
that
there.
bad, but I can see.
I didn't think it was
It can't
that
be. It
bad.
depends
It's
what
just
area.
like the whole, like, I don't know, just the sky chain. It's like, I was like minimum wage and straight up broke the whole time.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
fucked up.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm just on that, like, 6 months to a year, just grinding it out, then go on a trip, come back, do it again.
Yeah.
Yo, I think Charlesburg is a good situation because it's not a big bar.
Yeah.
It's not a small bar. It's actually like a perfect.
You make money. It's a good transition between, like, yeah, Friday, Saturday nights where it's club service and then just being a sports bar during the
Yeah.
week.
That's why I always like it.
Yeah.
It's not fucking.
It's more like loungy, I'd say.
Exactly.
Like
That's why I like it.
club.
It's
Yeah.
like it's literally like a triangle, and that's about
And you're
it.
back to the beginning.
Exactly. Like the dance was right there, and then.
But it's like, yeah, the staff are all great people.
Yeah.
I love it.
Like I had never had a bad time in Charles Bar other than my
Other than that
birthday.
one time.
Other than that one time. But still, like it hasn't disappointed me yet. Like compared to
Yeah, it's a
other.
good spot.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful for having the opportunity just like to start there when I moved, you know, and I was kind of just like, alright, like we'll see what happens. I'll just have this to tie me over, and then I was like, yo, my boss is actually really sick. Like, I like these people. This is a fun spot to work, and then I just stayed.
See,
Yeah.
you gotta be grateful, but for
Yeah.
little things like that, yo.
Exactly.
What are your ambitions and goals? Like, what are you planning over here
Eventually.
eventually?
Right now, like I said, I'm just traveling.
Yeah.
I'm working.
Okay.
And I like that consistency of just like working a few months, going on a trip, coming back,
Where have you
grinding
been
it
so
out
far?
again. What?
Where have you been traveling so far since, like?
Last place I went to was Costa Rica.
Okay.
Yeah.
I went there for a month.
Whew.
Before that, I went to Europe for a month, and I went to France, Italy, Netherlands, and Germany.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Before that, I think it was like Ireland or something like that. Next, I'm going to Asia. I'm going to China because my mom is working there for a year
Sure.
You gotta
teaching
go.
English.
You gotta go to Philippines.
You
I'm
gotta
gonna
go
go
to
to
the
the Philippines. I'm gonna
Philippines.
go to Vietnam. I'm gonna go to Indonesia, Thailand. I'm gonna do the whole classic.
What about Philippines?
I said that.
She
of
just
course
said
I
that,
she
did.
man. You ain't listening?
So first your first
I don't know where I'm going first.
Okay.
I just know that I've like got time off in February, hopefully, to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to go for probably a couple months this time because I'd like to go.
Gotta get that stamp in the passport.
Exactly. And then possibly, depending how much time I get off, I have a couple of friends of mine who live in Australia, so I'd like to go down there. But who knows if that's going to happen this trip or not. But I've never been to Asia, so I'm excited to do that whole trip.
Just be aware of pickpockets. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I mean,
Anywhere you go, you gotta be aware of pickpockets.
Still.
I remember my mom and I getting off the train in Rome, and I could just hear, "Oh, thank you so much!" I turn around, this little boy is like helping her get her suitcase off the train, and he's got his other hand like elbow deep in her purse, sticking around. I was like, "Mom, what the fuck are you doing?" She's like,
Yeah.
"Oh!"
Yo,
I was like, "Bro, you've been to like 36 fucking countries. How are you so naive that you're letting this?" You know what I mean? I was just like,
Yeah.
My sister got robbed. Her passport got stolen in Spain, pickpocketed. So she had to go
to Spain though.
So she had to go to the Canadian embassy in Spain to get a
hard to
temporary
get all that
passport.
shit, Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait for weeks just to get a temporary passport just to go.
Is that the worst thing though? Be stuck in Spain? Probably not.
Fuck.
Yeah, but you'd be so cautious because getting a passport again.
Of course, yeah, but
Never. That's
I mean,
why.
it's easier
9
for
times out of
Canadians,
10
right?
things work out. So I feel like at that
Yeah.
point when you're stuck in that situation, it's like there's literally nothing you can do. I just be like, hey, I'm just chilling in Spain then.
Because I was staying in hostels, so when I shower, I put my fanny pack right by my shower,
Yeah.
just looking at it.
Oh, I'm so cautious when I'm backpacking. I like stuff my my fanny pack in my pillow and stuff. And,
Yeah,
like I
you
sleep
have
under
to.
a pillow.
For sure.
I don't know that I shower with it. But
I do. Hey,
You
I
never
saw
know,
this
right?
meme the other day, and this guy hid his fanny pack inside a diaper and left it on the beach. And he's like, "How to never get your shit stolen ever again?"
Yeah,
because it just looks like a used diaper on the beach. I was like, that is so smart, though.
Are you traveling this year in Asia or next year?
In February,
Oh, okay.
so
February.
next year, 2020.
It's gonna be excited. I say Philippines first because.
Why are you hyping up Philippines
Hey,
so bad?
the
When's the last time you've been to Philippines?
Wherever the cheapest
Why?
flights are is where I'm going.
When's
Because
the last
I'll
time
say
you were in
the
Philippines?
thing is because the conveniency that Filipinos in
Yeah, but-
Philippines speak English.
Everyone-
Vietnam-
what?
I don't know about Vietnam. Do they speak English in
I'm sure you
I
can
don't
find
know.
English-speaking people.
When's the last time you've been to Philippines? though?
2003?
2003.
Oh my god.
But I'm just saying the conveniency that most Filipinos speak English.
They're also very like. There's crime there.
Of course, but well, like everywhere else. But yeah, it's also a third world
Yeah,
country.
but what is it in Indonesia? If you fucking
It's the same
get
thing,
caught
basically.
smoking weed, you get decapitated. Like,
Yeah, you
Jesus
can't, like,
Christ.
fuck around
It's like
there.
Philippines. It will.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
My friend got bit by a dog in Manila.
That makes sense. They're
and got
fucking
stuck
rabid there.
And our friends took off on her traveling.
Took off on her?
like,
Holy.
yeah. Yeah, they were like, okay, well, you're good here in the hospital. You're in good hands. See you later.
Oh my god.
Holy
Took off on the rest
fuck.
of the trip, and she was so upset. And I feel so bad. But I get both sides of it. It's like you've only got X amount of time to go do your travels, and it's like, yeah, that's unfortunate that happened, but like, are you really gonna stick around for another 3 weeks while your friend's in the hospital in fucking Manila to just,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, there's not much you can do after that. But I understand also where she's coming from, and that's super horrible if you were just stuck there by yourself.
Yeah.
And therefore, I don't know. It's a tough situation, but so that's why you don't pet stray animals.
Nope.
Yeah.
Especially.
Oh.
They're not domestic.
I did that. That's it. Honestly, in Costa Rica, the only place that I felt safe doing that. The stray animals, even there, seem so happy.
I've yet to go to like.
They were
Is that
so-
part of the Caribbean? Costa Rica?
There is a Caribbean side, yes, because it's Central America. So there's a Caribbean side, and there's the West Coast,
So where's
Pacific side.
where's exactly Costa Rica? Is that like what's
Central America.
Okay, so it's in the mainland.
right in between Panama and Nicaragua.
Oh, okay. So, for some odd reason, I thought it was like closer to Jamaica. For
Yeah,
some
so the Caribbean side's a lot more untouched. There's a lot of like turtles and cool
Yeah,
shit over there, and then the West Coast side, the Pacific side's a lot more Americanized at this point.
I'm surprised that
it's really beautiful.
I'm surprised that you stayed for vacation for a whole month. Like a month in Costa Rica, a month in Europe, like. Because I've done a whole month in Europe last summer.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of money.
Yeah. And
Like,
so does Costa Rica, because it's like people think, oh, it's Central America, it's not very expensive. But out of all the surrounding countries, it's one of the more expensive ones.
I'm actually more scared to travel in South America. For some odd reason, I feel it's more dangerous than like Asia and Europe. Because it's like
it is, yeah. It's quite dangerous. I don't know. I feel like Europe is also anywhere you go, you gotta have your wits about you. You know what I mean?
Like, because when I went to Europe, I started in Prague. Then I worked my way to Slovakia, then Rome, then Milan, and Netherlands, and then Belgium, then London. Like, I didn't go to France, I didn't go to like Holland, I didn't go to like popular spots. I didn't go to Paris. Like, I went to the spots that I can afford. Like Prague. You know, like
I don't know. Anywhere you go, you gotta just be careful of what's around you. But I never felt unsafe in Costa Rica, even when I was walking by myself at nighttime. Like, there's definitely creepy people, but I always felt like it was all good. Nothing bad ever happened there. Honestly, the creepiest experience I ever had was in Paris, and I was about to walk down into the metro, and this guy like grabbed my ass out of nowhere, and I turned around, he was just like gone into the crowd, and that's just like Europe and Paris.
Was it crowded when that happened?
It was super crowded because I turned around, he was already like walking away.
Broad daylight.
I could do, but I was like 18, 19 at the time, so that was my first experience like really backpacking.
Oh, okay.
And I was literally like walking down to the metro, and it was just like this guy just grabbed my ass out of nowhere, and it was just like such a shock, and it was just like it was so busy that he was just gone. You know what I mean? So
fast, like you can't even.
But that's like probably the worst experience I've had traveling with that sort of thing. So and that's in Paris in Europe where that's not that uncommon.
Right. You get to go to Paris every single bit.
Do you get that often, even with your job now? Just
heckling
random people?
No, because I've got the bar in between me and people.
Yeah. Are you always concerned about like people just going overboard?
No, not really ever, to be honest. And I have a lot of good bouncers that work there, so if anything does go sideways, I know that I can just like be like, hello, right here, and whoever I'm talking to is out like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And it's never something that crosses my mind really ever.
Oh, that's good. Because like I was always like wondering like when we get served at restaurants, just like people just being super creepy and being super aggressive. Like that.
So your worst situation was someone grabbing your ass in Paris. That's the worst so far.
What, in Paris? Yeah.
No, in Paris. But what's the worst that someone ever actually like sexually harassed you or?
Oh, that's a whole nother story for a whole other time.
Okay.
That's getting deep and dark.
Alright. But so far it's only Paris.
But no, in this industry and traveling, that's as far as it goes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nothing getting crazy, yeah.
Okay.
People are generally okay.
That's good. So you're traveling solo for Asia?
No, I'm going with my best friend Dietra again, who I went to Costa Rica with.
Oh.
Right.
Is she a co-worker in Charles?
She's an ex-co-worker from Victoria. That's how we became friends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
From Victoria.
From Victoria. She still lives in Victoria.
And she works at the same spot that you mentioned earlier?
No, she works at the Boom and Batten now. It's this fine dining place.
Mm-hmm.
Which is funny, because knowing her, she talks fucking a mile a minute, and it's just so not a fine dining type of gal, but if it works for her, it works.
Yeah.
They had Pamela Anderson in there the other day.
Where?
Really?
In her restaurant.
Oh shit.
And one of her coworkers didn't believe that it was actually Pamela, so she started doing the Baywatch runs, like slow-mo, through the restaurant as a joke. And then I guess Pamela looked at her, and then she realized that it actually was Pamela Anderson, so she got really embarrassed.
Me and Ian saw Pamela Anderson in real life earlier this year because she was at the Comic-Con. Was it Comic-Con? Or it was
anytime I think of seeing Pamela Anderson in real life, I think of Borat when he tries to stuff her into the
bag.
bag.
Exactly.
Like, we were surprised, like, she still looks good.
Does she?
Well, to be honest, she's what, 50, 40?
Well,
And-
she's like 50 at this
Yeah,
point. I don't
and
know.
I didn't know. I didn't even know she was originally from Up Island. She was from like the Nine or something.
Yeah, she's Canadian.
She's no. I didn't know she was
She's
actually
from
from
BC, I
from
think,
Vancouver Island.
Sure.
I was like, what? I thought she's from Toronto or something. I knew she was Canadian, but I didn't know she
I
was
mean,
from
do
that
they
island.
look different?
I'm just saying, like, it's
She's
just.
got too much work done at this point. She's
Yeah. Well, when me and Ian saw her at the convention center, I was like, damn, she actually doesn't look bad for her age.
Were you expecting her to look bad?
Well, it's like we never, this is our first like big star.
Yeah.
We got starstruck. Like, this is Pamela Anderson.
Sure.
Like Ian was trying to like sneak in the camera, like,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
because she's a huge public figure.
Yeah, everyone
Yeah.
knows who that is.
Exactly.
Do you know who Matthew Lillard is?
Yeah, he's from She's All That. He's from She's All That, yeah.
No, what?
Have you not seen She's All That? Matthew Lillard?
He's in that?
Yeah.
I'm thinking like Scream and like 13 Ghosts, and he's Shaggy.
Scream?
He's in Shaggy.
She's All That? You've never seen She's All That?
I don't remember Matthew Lillard in that though. You know Scooby Doo?
Yo, I gotta Google this.
I love She's All That's my favorite
Is
fucking...
he in that?
I gotta
Yeah,
Google
he's the
this.
guy who's from MTV. Have you seen the movie at all?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
he's
didn't
the guy
even
from
think about
MTV,
that.
and he just like dances in front of these guys.
He was in the bar a couple nights ago.
No way.
And, yeah.
Charles.
Yeah.
Who's this guy?
Matthew
Matthew
Lillard.
Lillard.
So she's. I mean, like that's like one of
He
my
was
favorite
so
movies.
sweet.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
It was really funny because the like manager producer guy that he was with lives upstairs in the Woodwards, and he was just like talking about like him or whatever. And my coworker was like, "Oh yeah, like I used to love 13 Ghosts growing up. Like I'm really excited he's here." And he was like, "Oh, do you want to take a photo with him?" She was like, "No, absolutely not." And he was like, "Oh yeah, no, like you can totally take a photo with him." And she was like, "Please do not do that." And he just like over and over again was like pushing. And he's like, "Oh, so like this isn't one of those things where you're gonna be like, no, like tell him I'm really pretty. No, don't tell him." And I was like, "No, she genuinely does not want you to tell him that."
Oh my
Wow, I
god.
didn't know that he was here.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
a
just
lot of
know-
people
I
are
just know.
fucking in BC for filming and shit, right? Because of state, like province taxes is just so small.
Yeah,
You
they were
know-
filming a show here.
You know what? For 2 years living in Victoria, I didn't even know that fucking X-Men was the whole. I just told him too earlier today that the whole X-Men, the school Xavier,
Yeah.
was done in Victoria, like the actual
Yeah.
university.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? So I've yet to visit, so I'm gonna check it
I
out.
mean, it makes sense.
I'm gonna check it out with the homie.
I love it.
So like, there's a little bit of history that Victoria has something to offer.
Yeah.
Something to offer.
Every now and again, it comes out with a little something.
I'm surprised. Now I know who Matthew Lillard is. I've seen him somewhere else. I've never seen Cecil that though.
Yeah, Shaggy.
Oh, I
Scooby
fucking
Doo.
love
He's
that
like,
movie.
Scooby Doo for sure.
yeah.
See, I know that more than Cecil that.
Yeah.
I
13
love
Ghosts.
She's All That.
Scream.
Scream? I don't know about Scream.
Like the 96, 97, whatever that.
She's all dead. 1999.
I love that movie.
Oh my
You
gosh.
gotta watch that.
Freddie Prinze?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And who's the other? Who's the girl?
What's her fucking name?
Jodie Lean Keefe?
No. Rachel Lee Cook is the main.
Holy shit. Yo, this is a...
That's a good movie, man.
Is this
You gotta watch
podcast
it.
over yet?
No.
Oh
We're
my God,
doing
how
it.
much longer
Dude, I have
is
so much
it?
questions still.
Yo, it's at least minimum an hour.
Hour and a half.
Longer?
Hell
Yeah, I gotta ask you, like, what is your, like, history with relationships and stuff?
Yeah.
Like, how's that been?
How's your relationship going? Yo, you got... Yo,
How's
you,
your relationship doing?
yeah.
Yeah.
Not well at this point.
Well,
No.
when did it all start? Like, when she was like, hey, like, I'm in my phase where I'm into dudes and they're into me. Like, how was that?
When did that start?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like grade 8?
Grade 8, what, 13? Then?
Grade 7 maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly still haven't had anything like that serious
Nothing
Since.
serious since.
Since.
since
Till this day.
Nothing like years is what I mean.
Oh,
okay.
As far
Like
as
nothing.
longevity.
Yeah. Like no live-in men. You know?
What do you think has like stopped you from getting that serious?
Or taking initiative anyway.
Not even taking
Not
initiatives.
taking
Like
initiative. Just different values, different views on life.
Like, what do you look for a guy?
Being in different positions. What do I look for? I look for someone who is really kind
Okay.
and who has a good sense of humor,
Alright.
is not too clingy, because that is the worst.
sure, that makes sense.
Looks, obviously, like, that's
Has to
always
be
something that comes
physically.
off as shallow, but at the same time, it's like, hey, get real.
Right.
Does he have to be a 10? Does he have to be like...
Does it have to be
No.
a 10?
Does he have to be... Okay, that's...
No, at least an 11, but...
Whoa!
I'm just kidding. No, I do like pretty boys, though. I don't know what it is,
Okay.
but...
So he can't be a
I've
regular
dated
job. He can't be a
quite
regular
few
dude.
men who are, like, debatably prettier than I am, and I'm like, this is uncomfortable. But I also, I don't know, something I love about a pretty boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can't go with
I
your-
like very metrosexual guys.
Yeah, but what's that to you?
What is a metrosexual guy?
Like,
Yeah.
would you describe as my friend Karr as a metrosexual?
No.
No?
Would you describe yourself as metro?
Like, how would you
I don't know,
find a
I mean, like-
metrosexual? Someone like a Ryan's... Like, is there
I
like
take
a...
it as how people
Someone
perceive
like...
me.
Like...
I don't think you're metrosexual. It's definitely personality, but it's also like, for example, like a couple of weeks ago, I hooked up with a guy who, you know, he paints his nails.
Oh.
Oh, that's metro to you.
He wears jean jackets with no shirt underneath and tight jeans.
And you
And
find
like,
that attractive?
on certain people. But that's usually not my type.
Okay.
But
I
in
think I'm gonna wear
that,
that tomorrow.
in that instance, I was like, okay, you're pulling it off. You know, it all depends on the confidence. It's like if you can rock that and feel confident and pull that off, that's fine. If you are gonna look awkward and like you don't belong in that skin, that's, you know, not attractive.
So there is a standard then.
Right.
Yeah, it
Okay.
varies per person. I don't necessarily, because I've also, like, I've dated such a wide range of people. I don't think that
But
I
no-
necessarily have a type. There's definitely
Okay.
a type that I go for, which, like I said, is pretty boys and people, you know, who dress well and are very, like, clean cut. But
Have-
also,
Right.
I've gone for quite the opposite at times.
Have
so.
you ever dated like an average Joe ever?
Yeah, I have.
Like straight up like a 5?
Are you trying to say you're a 5?
Unfortunately, yes.
Unfortunately, damn.
Yeah, because part of what makes them a 5 is their fucking personality.
Yeah, Gamboa, get together.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, yo.
You know?
Yeah, we gotta, you know.
Does race come into a thing when you're like searching or?
Does it matter?
Just race?
Yeah.
Not usually.
Okay.
That's good.
But you have a type though. You usually have a type?
Yeah, but not as far as race goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just like a look more so.
Does it matter what kind of like career choice he has or whatever? No, I'm just saying. I'm just being very general.
Yeah, you know,
Very
the bigger
good.
the bank account, the better. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Like if they paid for your taxi, it's all good.
No. I mean, like, someone's like, yeah, I'm a garbage man. I'm like, oh, baby.
There's no compromise.
Take me home.
Right.
You know?
When's your last serious relationship then?
Mm.
When?
Mhm.
Yeah. Why are you laughing?
Because I'm trying to
Last
think.
week.
I snorted. Like
Because I don't think you have a problem. You can have a problem because like,
a year ago.
wow,
Okay.
what happened then?
Who was the dude?
No, we don't want to know
What?
that.
How did you get into don't knowing the person?
Why did we break up?
Yeah, or whatever.
Like whatever happened.
What happened? You said serious, so it
I
has
mean,
to be
it's-
something.
Yeah, you're laughing. It has to be something.
What? How did you come across with this
Person.
individual
Had I come across him?
to this serious relationship?
Well, no, this wasn't nuts. Like, this was not serious.
You said serious.
Sure.
It's just the last person that, like, I guess had an effect on me.
Okay.
Because that takes a lot, and it wasn't necessarily a serious relationship or a long one by any means, but it was like someone who had a lasting effect on me, which takes a lot, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So, it honestly, I think it was only like 6 months, kind of like off and on, whatever.
6 months.
Yeah.
So give us a little background. Was he?
Let her get into it. Let her get into it
Race-wise.
first. Let her get into it first.
He is white.
Okay.
Sure. Go ahead.
He's a firefighter
Okay.
in Richmond.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course, he's a firefighter.
Oh, of course he's a firefighter in Richmond. Like, what do you mean? Yeah. He's an asshole.
How'd you come across with him? Like went to Charles Bar? Like
No, I was quite good friends with his cousin.
Sure.
And yeah, just like we were all here for a show, and he lives here. And I walked in and I was like, okay, this guy's either dating someone or he's gay, because goddamn. And it's neither, and I was like, alright, okay. And I'm usually not like the one that takes a guy home on the first date, or at least not anymore.
Yeah.
We ended up getting like, we really hit it off. We went and did like a self-proclaimed brewery tour the entire day,
Right.
and it was really fun. And we just hit it off, and I'm going home with him. And that was it. And then we just like, I went back to Victoria. He stayed here. We chatted off and on. I'd come over to visit and whatever. But it was always just like, there was always just something where it was like butting heads. You know what I mean? Like it was never as easy as it should be, I guess.
Right. Well, it's like the ultimate thing that just like it's not gonna happen.
He wasn't over his ex.
Oh, there you go.
It's a big ego killer right there.
Yeah.
But that's okay. No, like I'm over to this point. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I understand. I've been there, but it's just like I think he led me on to a point that wasn't cool. Him and I are still friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
Took a while to get there. Like I could have easily not forgiven him for what he did.
Yeah.
Because at the same time, it was like he, like within the week of him dropping the "I love you" bomb on me was the same week that he was like, actually, I don't think I want to be in this relationship.
Wow.
He said "I love you" and then he just backtracked.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Tabernacle.
Men, I tell you.
So, do you think like?
So you have no hope now?
Do you think like there are aspects about you that just holds you back from being like someone's just being
More open?
more like being interested and just being
Like after something like that, you mean?
yeah, like something negative that holds other people back from being with you. Do you think that
Something
there's-
negative about myself?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm sure there's lots.
What do you think is like the most thing? I don't want you to like just like be super detrimental about yourself or being super negative, but do you think there's an aspect that holds them back from you?
Obviously, as there is with anyone else. Like, I don't think I'm necessarily the most positive person at times.
Yeah.
Definitely more of like a realist.
Okay.
Thinking you can be selfish sometimes, especially being an only child.
Sure.
Tends to happen.
Yeah.
I'm very busy with work. Like, I work 5-6 days a week. For example, it's like I was seeing someone not too long ago that works a 9 to 5 Monday to Friday job, and I work quite the opposite. You know, my work week starts Thursday night, and I usually work all nights until Sunday or Monday night. Like right now, I'm working Thursday night till Monday night, and then I have Tuesday, Wednesday off, which is for like the average working Joe. That's not the ideal schedule with someone you're trying to date. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's like certain things like that, and I just think that sometimes, I don't know, I'm not the easiest person to get along with for whatever reason. Like there's certain things that just like once I get something in my head, like I'm very strong-headed about certain things. I'm very stubborn. So
what are those certain things? Like
what?
What do you think that? I mean, you said there's certain things. What are those? Like if you want to indulge.
I don't even know that there's like specifics that I can think of off the top of my head. I think it's just like certain arguments I get in, and once I'm set in my way, I'm like, no, you're fucking wrong. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like
Yeah.
like, I'm just, like, not willing to change my opinion because I'm like, no, your opinion is wrong, actually, so fuck you. But at the same time, like, I'm not, like, an easygoing person by any means, but it's just, like, if I'm not in a good mood, I think sometimes I tend to just, like, pick at things to make an argument because I'm being a bitch. Yeah. And I am just, like, a bitchy person in general. Like, I'm just, like, and not necessarily in a bad way. Like, I think being a bitch could sometimes mean a good thing.
Yeah.
You could disagree with me
I
on
think,
that,
like,
but
being a bitch is, like, could be detrimental, but it also could be,
yeah,
like, you're being more real and more authentic with yourself,
Like, I don't
right?
really take shit, or I try not to.
Yeah.
You know, but comes across in different ways, I guess. Like the guy at the bar tonight, for example, who was being an asshole for the machine not working. It's like so many people be like, customer is always right, and they just be like, I'm so sorry, sir, you know?
Yeah.
But I was like, actually, fuck you. Don't talk to me like that. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Just little things like that where, it's, I don't know. Nothing in particular, I guess.
Because, like, for me, like, when, like, I mean, even for that, like, situation where the machine doesn't work, like, I always expect, like, they would prefer you bring cash.
Yeah.
Is that the thing?
Yeah.
Like, it's, for me, like, at the bar, it's like, it's just straight cash. Like, this is your problem if you want to use card, and whatever happens, that's on you.
100%. And tonight, so many fucking people, insufficient funds. And I'm like, oh, what's that? Can I try again? I'm like,
Insufficient
dude,
funds?
should you be spending money if you have to transfer money between accounts? Probably
Yeah, no
not.
kidding. Like, what the fuck?
Hella broke, yo.
Yeah.
I just
That's
got
so
paid Friday.
sad.
Damn.
Insufficient funds? I've never had that in my life. No kidding.
Damn.
That's
I
pretty
would say, right now, kind of be thankful when you're in this situation, because,
yeah.
you know, like, not every day you see somebody who works at Charles Bar who's actually pretty chill, and I'm just saying, like,
you appreciate
you gotta
Phoenix
appreciate,
over here?
You gotta be grateful. You gotta be grateful at the little things you have, yo. Like, for real, like you've traveled a lot of countries, little things like that.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I hate being
Just stuck here?
Yeah. Well, no. Sometimes I gotta remind myself that to be thankful in my situation, because it could have been worse. Sometimes I feel like I need to, you gotta remind yourself you be blessed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Yeah.
I honestly don't like that expression. It could be worse, because it could always be worse.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's always worse. Like,
Exactly.
there's always also, like,
But
not be living.
that's not a way. That's not a way that I like to look at things where it's like, oh, well, it could be worse. You know what I mean? It's just like, because you go the other way, like, well, it could also always be better. You know what I mean? Like, that's just a stupid expression in my mind. But
Yeah.
I don't know, there's certain things that I've been through in life, and just like a perspective that I have where it's just like, you gotta be grateful for what you have no matter what. No matter, it's not like a competition between you and anybody else, and it's just like, yeah, you sometimes when things aren't so great, it is the little things. And even when things are great, it's always little things. It's the simple things, whatever makes you happy, whatever, you know what I mean, just keeping you going, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And it's those shitty times too that also, like, as shitty as they are when you're going through them, when you're out on the other side, you've gone through so much growth, which is such a cool thing. Because, like, you're never going to come out of a shitty time not learning something.
Yeah.
You know? And just things like that. That just, like, a lot of my friends right now are going through not such a great time for various reasons. Like, at all. Like, they're all having really hard times.
Yeah.
You think it's because of the age, or what's happening?
No, because they're all various ages. Like, some of them are 26, 25, 21.
It's a transition.
22. Some of them are 40. You know what I mean? Like, all various ages, but it's also, such big growing periods for each of those age groups. And they're all going to come out of the other side learning something because of whatever lesson that they're going through. And, you know, and it's not necessarily always a lesson. Sometimes it's always just shitty shit happens because that's life.
Yeah.
But you're still always going to come out, like, growing as a person.
Yeah.
And having a different perspective, which is, like, a really beautiful thing to me. And so it sucks because it's, like, I feel like everyone always deals with that shit at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's always like clusters of shitty events and clusters of people. And right now I'm having a pretty chill, okay time with life, and I'm stoked about it. And everyone else is like getting their shit handed to them, and I'm like, okay, well, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know. It's like I'm there for them, but at the same time, it's just like it's a lot of negativity going on right now. And just within the world in general.
Yeah, I think there's just like more people are just embracing that things happening in their life that are negative. They're outspoken about it too.
Right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that I always try and look at it too is just like worrying and stressing about things that are out of your control is never ever going to change the outcome of it.
Yeah.
Like ever.
So
like whatever's going to happen is going to happen, and that's way easier said than done. But at the end of the day, like whatever's going to happen is going to happen regardless of how you feel about it.
Yeah.
So if you can just control, you can control, and whether that's your peace of mind or, just like spending more time with the people around you that are going through a similar situation, just do that,
Yeah. I agree.
I don't know. That's why I moved to freaking BC. Like, I was tired. I was living in Winnipeg for 14 years. And then I remember me and Ian having this dialogue a couple years ago when we were still living in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
We're like, yo, are we gonna move to BC? And then he made the first transition.
And then
then
that
the
pushed
next,
you to go.
then the following year, that
Mm.
made me want to move.
Yeah.
Because I was just tired of the same cycle of the same crap.
Yeah.
Not saying that there's anything wrong with Winnipeg people. It's just I was just doing the same the same cycle of every season. Like, we're just gonna chill. We're just doing the same thing.
What do you think is different now, though?
Now it's a bit like, well, you know what the situation is now with my crew, and then
Yeah.
it's.
Do you think it's a better situation?
I think it is. Like, I feel a little bit more humble about little things like that. Like,
but then you also appreciate what you had in Winnipeg too,
of
because
course,
like,
because
I
that's,
mean,
that's
I'm
where I
not
came
here.
from.
I'm not here permanently either.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just here for like a little bit.
But hey, you might just move here, bro. Just move here, bro.
Because like we had
Like,
two serious like conversations like this whole day. Like right now and one earlier.
One of the few transitions when
Your other podcast, you mean?
yeah.
What was your other podcast?
We talked about his like situation and stuff.
Me and Ian were
Oh, and you cried, right?
no.
You cried a little
Someone
bit.
cried.
No.
Did Ian cry? Probably.
No. You guys were like, no. These guys were talking about their parents, and
Yeah,
like I was talking about my parents too. Like it's just like,
Yeah,
like really like
real deep shit.
deep shit too.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just like one of those things because we're in that age where our parents are getting old and stuff like that. So we're like just talking something deep.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we're trying to convince Karr like, yo, just move here, bro.
It's a little different, you know.
You ever think about moving here?
It makes sense for me in my job situation because like I work basically online, like just straight up on the laptop, just emails and network stuff, and they're all from BC basically because like I'm the head. Basically, I work at Staples Canada and I work with West Coast business. Like that's it, just straight up West Coast. So it makes sense for me to move here because they all live here, obviously.
Right.
So I don't know. I was thinking like, hey, why not just live here? But I haven't like I live with my brother right now, so I've never had a dialogue that should happen or that could happen.
Yeah.
So maybe like I don't know. There should be a discussion, or if there's a better opportunity for me to live here, then I'd probably take the leap.
It is a big transition because Winnipeg is. You gotta realize how cheap Winnipeg is.
It's
and
also
I've
like
never really been anywhere traveling in Canada.
yeah.
You gotta realize Winnipeg is the shit.
And like all my family's there.
Yeah, and my parents still live in Winnipeg. Like that's why I try to visit at least once a year. Like but it's home. But you also gotta make that change because Winnipeg is way too cold.
It's way too cold.
And like -40.
Yeah, that's fucked up. I cannot handle that.
Minus like 9 months.
-1 is enough for me.
-1.
Yeah, that's like I just wear cute little
This
jacket.
summer has been so shit. I mean, it's better than forest fires, but still, it's so cold.
It's not bad. It's not too bad.
Is.
It's cloudy and it's rainy and it's shitty.
I mean, I've been here for a fucking day, and then
You're like, yeah, it's horrible.
like, yeah, I said I used to live here, but then that was like such a
No,
like,
this is the worst
weird
summer I think I've
time.
ever seen, like, ever.
Yeah.
It's so cold. It's so windy. It's so cold. And just, like, overcast.
Yeah.
Like, it's still warm, but it's overcast all the time. Just muggy and gross.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's not a good time.
Do you see
Global
yourself?
warming, man.
Do you still see yourself in Charles Bar for a good, like, in 5 years from now, or are you gonna
I
expand?
hope not.
Yeah, what are your bigger ambitions? Like, what are you interested in? Like,
I've always been really interested in psychology and counseling, and specifically eating disorder counseling.
yeah, have you experienced that? That's what
Not personally, but my mom was a teenager, was anorexic. I've had a few friends deal with that, and
yeah.
I've always had quite a healthy body image view, but most people I know do not, and that's always been something that's very interesting to me, just the psychology behind it.
Like body dysmorphia, yeah.
Exactly, and
Like, I have that too, just like...
yeah, like most people do, I'd say, to a point, you know, and there's a difference between, like, an eating disorder and disordered eating, but
Yeah.
to some extent, like, most people have that. I'd say, like, I don't know if, you know, I'm not an expert by any means, but just, like, from my experience with my friends and family and whatever, is, like, there's always some sort of something with body image, and that I find that very interesting.
You don't need a, like... I think you don't need a professional, like, credential to, like,
To grasp
analyze
that,
that.
you mean?
Because,
Yeah.
like, for me, like... I see that in most people too, just like how they react to things, how their cadence, the way they move, the way they talk. It's just like so obvious to me, like how like they think how they're doing, that it's just like that must be it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, body language is definitely a big part of it.
Big, like I fucking read so many books on
Yeah.
body language.
Well, yeah, so that's the thing, is, like, from a young age, from, like, my, like, tweens, early teens, my mom had so many books on, like, bulimia, anorexia. There's this lady, she used to work at the Montreux Clinic, which is in Victoria, and this lady, Peggy St. Clair, I think is her last name. She opened this eating disorder clinic there, and my mom and dad both did, like, my dad did the night shifts there, like, watching over the patients, and my mom was a counselor. And it ended up getting shut down due to, like, licensing issues. Now she has this big clinic in Portugal.
Whoa.
Right.
And, like, I have her on Facebook, and she's just, like, always posting these, like, crazy motivational things, whatever. She has, like, such a large following because she's a very well-known, like, public figure for these issues. And I just find it so interesting. Like, I've read her book that she published, I think, probably, like, the 90s or something.
Damn.
And just, like, read, like, she was featured on, like, Dateline in, like, 2020 for various different things, and, yeah, like, my mom was an eating disorder counselor, and my dad, like, watched over them during the night shifts, and this was, like, this severe, almost on their deathbed kind of illnesses that they were looking after.
Sure.
And yeah, it was really shocking, and, like, as a child, I spent a lot of time there, like, when I was little, not that I remember, but I just, like, know that my parents would bring me there a lot to kind of, like, brighten up the patient's day kind of thing. And I had stuffed animals growing up as a kid. They were like, oh, do you remember this is from so-and-so, and this is, you know, and I'm like, no, I have no idea.
Right.
Cool. So I spent a lot of time there as a child, and then, like, when I was able to, like, get a grasp on it and start reading, I read a lot of books on it, and it's just kind of always been something that's in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And my mom also always, like, you know, put this, like, positive body image thing into my brain, because she, you know, she was looking for the exact opposite of what her and all these other people she knew went through.
Yeah.
And that definitely had, like, a lasting impact on me. Like, I've never really had a bad relationship with food or body image or anything like that, and I'm very grateful for it. And so it's just like I'd always love to research that and be able to create that for other people, but also just psychology in general. Like, in high school I always took peer counseling, so you were assigned to different students to kind of make it less awkward for them than going and sitting down with like an adult counselor, and instead of that they would go and meet up with like a peer and chat about whatever.
Yeah, just to make it more relatable.
In some cases I feel like would be almost more awkward. Like, I don't know, me for example, if I was 16 years old, if I would want to go meet up with like someone in grade 12 who's like 17, 18 and go talk to them about my shitty life.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, that almost sounds more intimidating, but yeah. And no, I remember my counselor, Mr. York, he's a goddamn saint. I love him. He's so awesome. He's this like old Australian man, and he was just the best. And he was like, oh yeah, like, I see you're one of the ones I've poisoned with this idea, because he knew that I really wanted to go into something like that. But yeah, I've never pursued it so far. I'm still just enjoying doing what I'm doing and traveling and working and whatever. But in the next couple of years, I definitely want to go to school, and most likely, like 90% sure I want to do something like that, because that's something consistently, like, I've definitely had other ambitions and ideas throughout the years, but overall it's like that's something I always come back to, and I think that's definitely what speaks to me as a passion. Besides, like, I make music, like, I sing.
Nice.
And I play guitar, and I'm very musical, but to make a career out of that is very difficult, and it's not necessarily something I'd want to make a career out of. Like, I think it's more something that's just like a hobby for me.
I mean, why not, right? I mean, it's also possible for you to do whatever you want.
It's possible, for sure, but that takes a lot more work and hours and time, whereas, like, yeah, I'm definitely interested in doing that, but it's like, to make something of yourself and be successful is a lot more challenging, and not necessarily saying that I want to disregard that that's a possibility for me, but they both are passionates of mine.
Have you uploaded anything of yourself, like singing and stuff like that?
I have singing online, yeah.
Yeah?
Can you do our intro?
A video of you?
Can I do your intro?
At the end, can you do the intro and I'll put it in the beginning?
If you have like
God.
a plug. It'd be like the permanent
your
plug
jingle?
of the Guinto Bros.
Yeah. Just do a little bit.
Maybe.
You haven't even heard me sing yet, so I don't know if you want that.
I mean, why not?
Is there stuff like...
I'm not gonna judge.
Is there stuff up on YouTube or anything that you posted?
I have like old stuff on YouTube.
Oh yeah? What's the
What's
channel?
your channel?
Oh my god, no, that's not where
Yo, we gotta check it out.
You gotta plug that shit at the end.
You can find myself on Instagram or on like this app called Smool.
So you have posted stuff on Instagram, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Just, like,
We're
small
gonna plug
reference.
that. Yeah, I think, you know what? At this time, this whole, like, era is, like, more independence and more, like, non-reliance on, like, industry or whatever, larger organizations. Like, it's more, like, you
Plus,
do
you're still
what
young.
you want to do.
You're still learning, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You're always a student.
Like, you always can do what you want to do on your own.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need all these, like, credentials, or you don't need, like, approval from a larger entity to do what you ever want to do. You can just do it on your own.
I'm actually very curious how you sound
Right?
now. Like, I want to hear your voice. I actually want
You should do what you want to do, like, whatever makes you happy.
I'm actually very curious.
You want me to sing right now?
No,
I mean, not right now, like-
I was like, oh my god, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, but it's
and
like, we're
go.
And drop.
Yeah.
Eventually, yeah.
What kind of music do I like to sing?
Yeah.
It's alright. I like Amy Winehouse.
Amy
It's my
Winehouse.
go-to gal.
Hey.
Amy, Nora Jones. Nora Jones is a big one.
Wow, Nora Jones.
I love Nora Jones.
Yo, people don't even know Nora Jones, yo.
She's very underrated.
Yeah, she's like, when we were...
Dude,
we were fucking teenagers when she came.
Yeah.
I remember, as a kid.
Dude,
like,
she was a huge
I
deal
used to
back
play
in
her on my
2003.
goddamn boombox.
Boombox.
Yo.
Yeah, I loved her.
She reminds me of Diana Krall for some odd reason.
Just the style.
The style.
Faith Hill. Love me some good Faith Hill.
Really? Wow.
As a kid, just like these are just like random singers. Like,
So this
keep
is
in
your
mind,
genre
I used to have
music.
like women, like, you know those Women in Songs albums?
Yeah.
What about the new generation? Do you like the new, like, what about, what's her name? Hazley? What's her name?
Halsey.
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 Sorry.
I used to really like Halsey. I've been to one of her shows kind of before she blew up. Like, I got $70 floor tickets.
Yeah.
Like, 4th row. So it was like before she was like big.
Yeah.
And she put on a really good show, but her music just kind of turned too poppy and like.
I think they
And
have
then
to.
you-
though,
So you
know
don't
what I mean?
like popish
I
style?
do, but I don't like. It's not something I'm passionate about. Not someone that I strive to be similar to or that I like look up to.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Like her music now just sounds very auto-tuned and just very pop to me.
Generic.
Yeah.
basically.
But it's very cool that you mentioned names like Nora Jones to Amy Winehouse. To
Yeah, that's
Faith
our
Hill.
generation.
That style is very like.
That's what I go for. I really like soulful,
It's not very
like
popish.
bluesy,
It's not
jazzy. I
popular
really like
at all.
Very
female
jazzy.
R&B. Like I mostly like male vocals, but like when it comes to R&B, I really like female R&B.
What about Usher?
Usher.
Come on,
Who doesn't like a good Usher song?
come on,
you
yo,
know?
Usher, yo, I got Usher right now.
Usher.
Stop it.
Yo,
Yeah.
like, I love Usher.
That's good.
Huge fan of Usher.
Yeah, I can tell. So how about Usher?
How about
Usher? Though?
Yeah,
That's cool.
so that's my life story.
I gotta
That's
check.
cool.
Check it.
Like
So
I've
what?
learned so much about you. This like
Yeah.
I think it must be 2 hours by now.
Is it really?
It
Leaves.
seems like it's fucking light outside.
Yeah.
God, I need to go to bed, man.
Yo.
Yeah, I'll drop you off. It's all good. But yeah, what do you want to plug? Like
What's your Instagram?
Snapchat,
What
anything.
is my
And
Instagram?
What is
you
your
tell
Instagram?
me.
Shit. Look at my address.
We gotta take a photo after this.
Yeah.
Take
Every
a
episode.
photo?
You gotta. Every
Yeah,
episode.
What?
Every episode we have to.
Where's my phone?
I don't know.
Oh, there it is. I know my Instagram is like Phoenix, but I don't know how it's spelled. It's like Phoenix. And I don't know how many H's and O's and E's I put in there, you know?
How about you tell us?
That's what I'm looking. Oh,
Is it okay?
it's
Phoenix.
Phoenix. PHOEENIIX
E-E.
_.
IIX.
Yeah, you know, because Phoenix was just not an option that was taken a long time ago.
Yeah.
Phoenix. What? Just straight.
It's just PHOEENIIX _. That's my username.
Underscore. Okay.
Okay, and then Gamboa, what do you have?
Gambeezy 204.
Gambeezy too.
Gambeezy.
Spell that shit, man.
GAMBEEZY 204.
204. And my plugs are. I have Instagram, keeping up with the Karr.
Oh my god, that's so good.
Alright, and I'm keeping up with the Kardashians, right? I know.
Yeah, we got it. Thank you for
Thank you.
clarifying.
Snapchat, Karri Trey. Facebook, Karr Guinto. You can listen to this podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify. We're also on Apple Podcasts, or whatever the fuck it's called right now. And you can, whatever podcast app you have, you can plug in the RSS feed at guintobros.podbean.com. Anybody else has anything to say?
I'm good, yo.
Okay.
You're good? And this is the Guinto Bros podcast. Another one.
Another one!
Peace.
I gotta hear this.